Joined by Coach Andy Young of the cross country and track and field team for our State of the Marauders series. Coach Young, looks like you're busy today joining us from on the road, huh?
On the road indeed. Yeah, a little bit working with my wife on hopefully a new job here. So up in Hazleton area. So
Okay.
COVID definitely having its influences.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a new job for you though, right?
No, not for me. Definitely for her.
Well, as we talk about this team, as you said, COVID having its influences, it certainly has had its impact on Millersville and its athletes. How has your team adjusted so far to the majority of doing academics online so far this fall?
Um, like on the get go, they're saying the workload is very heavy right now relative to last spring. That's what I'm hearing from a lot of the girls, and the stress level is up there. I think a lot of them don't prefer online; they'd much rather be in person, and so that's a frustration for them. But they seem to be adapting, and that's the thing. Hearing from the other coaches and watching the other interviews you guys have done. They're adaptable, and that's the great thing about them. They're figuring it out. They're working hard to try and make things right as far as the educational experience.
Well, let's talk about training and actual athletic performance. Track and field, cross country, sports that you can conceivably train socially distanced without a problem. How have your athletes been training, keeping fit, and what are your goals for them as we head on into the fall?
I think much like a lot of athletes, when the seasons got canceled for the fall, that I feel like for a lot of kids, training took a big hit at that point, and they're like, "Well, what are we training for?" It was interesting though, because later in the summer they started to rally a little bit. So I think they went through the kind of the range of emotions of like, like, oh, this stinks, and why is this happening to us, and everything like that. But that what we're seeing is like they're trying to help each other because we're not doing organized anything yet together. I know a lot of the girls have put out group messages and stuff saying, hey, if anybody wants to go run or throw or whatever, I'll be up at wherever doing it at that time or this time. And that's been nice to hear that that's been going on from the girls. Training wise, we're going to take it slow. And I think all teams are probably looking at it the same way, in that, hey, we have time and we're going to use that time to maybe get better in certain ways that we don't normally have. So for like a cross country team, they can really, generally they're thrown into the fire right away. They're competing within 2 weeks being back on campus. And right now we actually have the time to work on things that they're not great at. So, typically distance runners, they're not strong. So getting them a little bit stronger, maybe working a little bit harder on fitness stuff and not doing race specific work. So just getting fitter and a lot of people out there, like myself included, we're just kind of spending time working on our endurance and stuff like that. That's big for distance runners, and certainly for the sprinters, just kind of working on technique a little bit harder and not worrying about getting ready for a December meet. We're getting ready for a spring, hopefully, meet. So that's kind of where we're at with the training aspects. And I think our teams kind of embrace that idea of, hey, this is an opportunity again. We can get better.
Well, you mentioned cross country. This is a team that's in a unique situation this year because of the cancellation of fall sports. All the other fall sports moved to the spring. A lot of those cross country runners, also outdoor distance runners for the track and field team. What's the latest on having a cross country season right alongside an outdoor track and field season?
Ethan, you probably know as much as I do about this right now, which is we don't know a whole heck of a lot. But there was talk in our conference of trying to do a pseudo very short cross country season in the spring, especially looking at indoor sports. I don't see, unless there's a vaccine, any way they're playing any indoor sports, to be honest, because of all the restrictions in Pennsylvania with 25 people in an area. And we go to track meets, indoor track meets that are 1,000 people. So I just don't see that happening. If indoors doesn't happen, maybe we'll have a little bit of a cross country season in February, March, or something like that. If indoors does happen, then cross is out. We're probably not running it there. I don't see any way that could happen. So I mean, that's kind of what we're looking at. But the unique thing for our girls is that run those 3 seasons is like if they miss one, they still have opportunities. It's not like other sports that might miss and that's it. Like they lose their opportunity. We're very, very lucky as a sport in that we do have multiple opportunities to compete.
Absolutely. And we have had some seniors that have had to make some decisions, both difficult decisions and, changing around their academic schedule, putting off plans to graduate, or deciding I'm going to stay on, I'm going to graduate, but I have to, not have that last hurrah as a season. Can you tell us how has that impacted your team? Have you had any athletes like that?
So we had a couple athletes that were looking at coming back, and then they kind of saw what was happening this summer. They had job opportunities, and rightly they took the job opportunities. So we don't have any of last year's seniors back with us. This year's group of seniors, those conversations are ongoing. I think a lot of them, after watching the spring go down and the fall go down, are saying, you know what, maybe it's just more important to focus on getting my education and finishing school whenever I'm supposed to finish. And, if I can run in grad school or something like that, great. But I don't think any of them are at that point where they've made any sort of decisions. And that's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, we always talk about this with our team, is like their job is to get an education so they can either get into a good grad school or a good job someday. And that's what they're doing. And we look at our sport, it's gravy. It's awesome. We love competing at it, but it's on top of education. It's not the primary thing. So our team's very good about that and kind of keeping perspective on it. And I guess our coaching staff does a good job with that as well, and reminding them that, hey, that is the end game here. Let's get educated and move on to the next step in life. And if they have the opportunity to keep doing it, awesome. But those conversations are ongoing right now.
Well, as you mentioned, there is so much up in the air about competition this year. Whether it be cross country, indoor, or outdoor. And hopefully at some point this year, we get into January, we'll be able to make those things happen. So let's talk about, let's just go ahead and talk like we're going to have these things and be hopeful, right?
Awesome. Yes.
The last time that we saw track and field competing, Aaliyah Shriver was standing at the top of the podium in 2 events, indoor MVP at the PSAC championships. You have to be excited about the potential for her to continue to take another step.
Yeah, Leah had a fantastic year last year, and we were very excited for the outdoor season as well. She's a pretty accomplished hammer thrower, and adding that into with discus and everything, which she's also very accomplished at. We were real excited for her. I think she had a very unique and awesome situation in that she got to kind of be behind Sunflower Green for a little while and learn about. Sunny worked hard, really hard, and really kind of dragged a lot of the other girls with her. And you saw that in the results with Sunflower. And Aaliyah has taken a hold of that herself and kind of, hey, I want to do something like that and be similar and maybe even take down Sunny's shot put record, which, hey, that's great that she's thinking about those things. So it's exciting. We have a season. She is going to be a force again this year, but I think she's more dangerous outdoors than indoors, much like Sunny was, where she's got a chance to do very well in 3 events. And for our team, that's huge points. That makes a huge difference on a team like ours. And certainly what she's doing for the younger athletes behind her is the same as what Sunny did for her. Kind of passing along that attitude, that work ethic, everything like that. So that should be pretty exciting to see where she goes this year.
Who are some of the other athletes, whether it be from cross country or from track and field, that you're excited to see some growth and some potential success for them?
I think, like, sticking to the throws, Hannah Wolfling is gonna be somebody. She was having a good indoor season for a freshman, doing a new event in the weight throw. She's more of a discus, more of a hammer thrower. We thought she was going to do some major impacts come outdoor season, and she keeps working hard. She's not afraid to kind of get after it, the training and everything like that, and she likes to compete. So keep her on your radar because she's going to be special in college. We have Kate Moyer in the multis has done significant work to get better. She scored indoors in the Penn but heptathlon is more of her thing as well, which is an outdoor thing. And I think she's ready to step it up to a different level as well. She was very close indoors and doing some serious damage, just missed out in the last event, the 800 of her pentathlon. So I think as she has a little bit more experience, a little bit more time here, she's going to be very, very good in the heptathlon outdoors. Joe Cedeno, Angelis, she had a great cross country season last year. She was doing well indoors. She was another one we were very excited for to do some damage in the middle distance races. Abby Sullivan, another middle distance runner who was really coming along very nicely indoors last year. Again, no opportunity for outdoors, but she's another one that we're kind of excited to see what she does. And Jill Miller, another middle distance runner. We have a whole slew of middle distance runners right now that didn't get to show all the work that they put in last year. And certainly that'll be very exciting for them this track season. And on the sprint side, we have a deep sprint squad and jump squad right now. And I think it'll be led by Deasia Holman. Her sister had a great season last year, but Deasia in her own right, runner up in the hurdles. Wow. And just missing an NCAA mark in the hurdles. She was coming along so well, and we're very, very excited to see where that goes for her. And we have a slew of 400 runners that a couple of girls coming off of soccer. We didn't get to see them too much in track because they were shifting from a late soccer season into track season. But we're excited for all of them to kind of see where they're at. The sprints group is a little bit younger, but they are deep, and they push each other hard. Coach Stokes does a really nice job of kind of getting them up ready and competitive. So we have a lot of areas where we're pretty excited about. We haven't seen it on the competition venue completely, and outdoor track is always our season. So that's why last year was so tough to kind of work so hard to, like everybody else, and then nothing. So.
Yeah. And looking at your roster this year, it's a very balanced roster. Seniors, juniors, sophomore, freshmen. You have a nice mix. You're not too old. You're not too young. You've had really big recruiting classes the last 2 years. What are you excited to see about some of those younger athletes getting a chance to compete for the first time, especially since, as you mentioned and alluded to, a lot of those younger athletes didn't get a chance to showcase their skills in the outdoor season last year?
Yeah, I think the excitement is just, it's like Christmas. Like we want to open these gifts. We know we have all these gifts. These kids are really good athletes, and like we did all the work to prepare for Christmas, and we didn't get to open the gifts yet. So it's a matter of opening the gifts right now. I want to see what they can do, and I think they're in the same boat. They're like, I know I'm in shape right now, but I don't know what that means on the track when I race or compete or anything like that. So,
yeah, absolutely. Well, Coach, thank you for joining us today and for the State of the Marauders series, and we hope to see you on the track sooner rather than later.
Yeah, definitely, Ethan. Thanks for doing this. We really appreciate you guys kind of bringing light to our programs.
You got it. Talk to you later.
All right, bye-bye.